Universalist Church of Amherst. I'm Lorraine Marcus, and my pronouns are she, her. We are so glad you have chosen to be here, virtually and in person. Our minister, Reverend Michelle Buheit, is on sabbatical leave through the end of this month. Services during this time have included guest speakers from near and far, and assistance from the sabbatical team, thoughtfully assembled by Reverend Michelle, and even more assistance from our tech crew, our greeters, weavers, ushers, musicians, and coffee makers who seek to create a safe and inviting space for all who enter this sanctuary of UU Amherst. For those in the chapel, I invite you to put your phones on reverence mode, silencing them so that you and all may be fully present and free from distraction. We also ask that you become aware of the closest exits in case of fire or any emergencies, the double doors in the rear, and the single door behind the tapestry. In addition, for little ones who may need to move around during the service, there is an expansive area over to the left of the back of the chapel that flows through the atrium, the dining room, and the living room that provides space and activity. Today, we will be engaged in singing the children out after the time for all ages. We will be continuing our series of ecology workshops led by members Eve Tolbert and Betty Leader. Today, we will take a short hike in the Ecology Center to identify which areas are most critical to help clearing the invasive species from the grounds that we nurture and cherish. The herd from Let's Go Buffalo will help us execute this during our Living Green Festival on the weekend of September 9th through the 11th. As we gather, we acknowledge that our church is built on land that was once nurtured and cherished by the First Nations people of this region, the Haudenosaunee, and the people known as the Neutrals before them. May we continue to tend this cherished land and courageously cultivate community with all living things. It has been said that Unitarian Universalism is the religion that puts its faith in you, trusting each individual to engage in the spiritual journey and to reach our own conclusions about spiritual matters. We do that in beloved community as we support one another in faith and friendship. In that spirit, this congregation has created a covenant, a sacred promise of how we will strive to be with one another. Please join me in speaking our covenant. Together we promise to gather in compassionate community, to celebrate diversity of thought and unity of spirit, and to seek wholeness for ourselves, our children, and our world. We begin each gathering by lighting the chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. Our flaming chalice represents the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of our commitment to foster more compassion and justice in the hurting world. Please join me in speaking the words as Sam lights the candle. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. Try again. Each of us carries with us into this worship time cares and concerns, joys and sorrows. Together we create the container where we can put down our burdens, knowing they are held gently by this gathered community. For those joining virtually, I invite you to give voice to that which is on your heart, or perhaps type it into the chat in the live stream. For those here in the chapel, I invite you to come forward and place a stone or shell on the table labyrinth in recognition of that which is on your heart. Candle for the larger community. Who we are called to be. This candle is a reminder that in hard times our ancestors in faith acted with courage to bring hope and safety, to bring life itself to threatened people. We light it today as a reminder of who we are called to be in a world still dangerous and despairing. With courage and faith, we bring ourselves to the work before us. We are welcoming Reverend Sue Frawley back to our sanctuary, our church this morning. This is the second time this summer we are blessed to have her presence. She is a Amherst resident who works as the pastor at the Hamburg UU church. She also is a circuit pulpit supply minister in Western New York for other UU churches. She currently works as a legal assistant for the Center for Elder Law and Justice. Reverend Sue.
You're too kind. Thank you so much. It's my honor and privilege to be here with you this morning. So let us begin by getting into the thought of today's sermon, summer. Summer fades, but not the memory, the warmth, the grief, the sorrows, and the experiences that we share. Those carry us always into the next seasons of life as we continue always on that cycle. We okay, tech crew? Is it coming from down here? What do I have? What's in your hand? My sermon? Go for it? Okay, we'll see if we get feedback. So for our Time for All Ages story today, a classic by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease has all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines. By chance or nature's changing course untrimmed, but thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag thou wandest in his shade. When in eternal lines in time thou growest, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Words of William Shakespeare. And so I understand we are going to sing the young people out for their, it says FD activity, I'm not sure what that is, but Go Lift It Up from the Teal Hymnal. So if you can find that in the Teal Hymnal, did I say that right? Okay.
Go lift it up, love bless your way. Moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day.
Okay, tech guys, is it working to do it this way? So I'm just getting over one of the worst flus I've ever had in my life. It's horrible. And unfortunately, it zapped me of a lot of my strength. So I'm just going to sit as though we're having a conversation while I give you my sermon today. I'm going to mess with the tech guys, because is there something we should turn off? Okay. Les is making a sign that I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to go with keep rolling. Okay. When summer ends, the Farmer's Almanac and the meteorologists will tell us that summer ends on September 22nd. Some say Labor Day is the mark of the end of summer. And also some say the beginning of the academic year is the beginning of summer. There we go. Some UUs think that summer ends when the water ceremony and ingathering occur. Locally, many Western New Yorkers will agree that summer ends the Monday after the Erie County Fair. You can feel it in the air, truly. The weather will feel different, the sky will feel different. Years of going to the fair, Adam and I were talking about that just before service today. Those who are, ground in the dirt Western New Yorkers just know this. But if you're really, really a die-hard Western New Yorker, you would say it's when the Bills play their first home game. That is when summer ends. And in true UU style, I will tell you that no one is wrong. Our sense of seasons start and finish, and they all come from our own personal experience, from our perspective, and from our anticipation. Think of the summers of your childhood. Perhaps they were days free of responsibility, drinks from a hose in the backyard, swimming, popsicles, picnics or summer camp. Maybe it was traveling to faraway relatives and perhaps even staying there a while. As one grows into adulthood, it becomes more about summer internships, summer jobs, and later on, planning on those 10 vacation days you get to maximize relaxation and renewal. Or maybe some other memory that I didn't voice, because again, everyone has their own experiences, and there are no wrong memories or wrong experiences. They just are what we each have. And each of them has their own history that defines for a person what the seasonal parameters are in your life. Much like our fourth principle, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, each person can define, feel, and regard a season as they see it. And seasons aren't just weather occasions. They're seasons of our life. Kind of sounds like a soap opera a little bit there. So too are the seasons of our life. Sometimes we don't know when a season will start. I love this one. I must have been in a William Shakespeare mood when I was writing this. Now is the winter of our discontent. The opening line of Richard III, also written by Mr. Shakespeare. But seasons come upon us. They come upon us sometimes as an expectation, as a date on the calendar, and sometimes marking an occasion from the past. Seasons also can be something that's begun. And we don't think about it all the time. Usually we think about rituals of seasons and how they start. Same with our church. To be honest, most UUs think about our church as an academic space that begins in September, ends in June. We're going to Chautauqua for the summer. See you back in September again. But again, there are so many other components to how we see where summer starts and where it ends. There's people that can't wait for it to start, and there's people that can't wait for it to end. Some of those are the people who love fall or can't wait for autumn to get here as well, or they're more into spring if we're doing the winter, the weather types of things as well with that. Of course, I guarantee you that there's people that have been complaining about the heat and humidity that come November, you're going to hear them, oh my God, the snow and cold, it's never nice here. You can't please everybody. That's what's so beautiful about Buffalo. And one day you can have 4 seasons as well, so wait for October or November. But seasons or times are very important. And Ecclesiastes said it best. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to uproot. A time to kill, and to be killed. And a time to, sorry, I read that wrong. A time to kill and a time to heal. Boy, that would not go well in a review. I'll blame that on fog brain. All right, do over, do over, do over. A time to tear down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. Maybe. A time to embrace.
Test.
Use that one? Okay. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give away. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. I like that because it kind of encapsulates so many aspects of what time and elements of it can be. And as we are reflecting on that, we're reflecting on seasons, it helps us to see that it can be multiple. But let's get back to when summer ends, because that's what the sermon said today, and that's what you want to hear. There's work to do as summer ends. Patio furniture to be put away. School shoes to be bought. When I was a kid, that was a big deal, because school shoes were kind of expensive, and my mother would go to Liberty Shoes in the Southgate Plaza. Woohoo! Big deal. Not only that, but my mother had a rule. It was called stay on the rug. And that meant that until she absolutely knew that those shoes fit, you stayed on the rug in case you had to take them back, because you couldn't take them back if they were scuffed or something was wrong, especially because school shoes were so expensive. And sadly, I did find myself saying that to my kids once, stay on the rug, stay on the rug. There you go. It's part of that seasonal progression. There's also gardens to be cut back, last picnics to be had, and maybe soaking up some of those last days of hot sunshine. Everyone has a ritual for how they close summer. I also was telling Adam, I used to work at the fair. Years ago, they used to hire teachers, because they knew they were off in the summer, to work at various points throughout the fair during the fair time. And I loved it. It was great. Lots of good work. You get to see everything and meet everybody who was there. But then, on the Monday, after the fair closed, I always went to Lilydale to get my energy in alignment for the next school year. That was my ritual. Yep. Okay, is it working now? Oh, wait, put microphone close. Phone back. Does that work? We'll find out. Eyes don't fail me now. Okay. Today's sermon is renamed Fun with Dick and Jane and Technology. It's beautiful. Anyway, getting back into summer stuff. Rituals. Every family and every person has some kind of ritual, whether you're aware of it or not, or you have thought about it. But it's still something that you use to get yourself into your movement for the next season. What ritual do you go through? I'm going to let you have a chance to talk about that in the talkback section in just a few minutes. If you've never thought about it, pay attention to what you do in the next few weeks. Give yourself time to grieve the waning sun and warmth, rejoice in the abundant foods of the summer, like sweet corn. Take in a sunset. Consciously be aware of the choices that you make, or make new traditions if you don't like the old ones. Ecclesiastes said, there are seasons, but they didn't say when or how they must come or go. That is up to you. Okay, this is the best part because I don't have to use tech up here. Lorraine's going to walk about. Okay, yes you do. Yes you do. The voice above has spoken. So this is Talkback for those of you who've never experienced it. Talkback is an opportunity for you to speak to the concepts and ideas that were in the sermon, that were in the readings, or just whatever's in your mind as you were sitting here today listening or thinking. This is your pulpit. It belongs to the congregation. And so I need and you need to hear your voices connected together. So feel free to comment and say what you would like. Have at.
My name is Pat,
Hi, Pat.
and ever since I have my own car, I like to wash it myself at the end of summer and wax it myself. And then that's done.
Yes, bravo. Thank you for sharing.
Good morning. My ritual is been on the news recently. I found out late in life that my grandmother was at Chautauqua many moons ago. And so my ritual is I get down there every summer. I used to stay there, but now we stay a long weekend in the fall and in the spring. And it just brings back so much joy to do that for me.
I'm Barry. It occurred to me in terms of when does summer end. It was as a child, the dreaded trying on the clothes from the older cousin hand-me-downs, and then having to go shopping before the days of blended wools or khakis when those scratchy wools were just nasty. When I owned a home, summer ended the first day you had to turn on the furnace because it got so darn cold.
Very good, thank you.
I was a teacher, Marlena, and summer ended the day the principal sent you the letter saying, welcome back to this next year.
Well, I work in higher education, so summer is the time when parking is ample. And we know summer has ended when all the students are back on campus. And in my own house, of course, when our daughter leaves to go back to her school, on a personal level, I have to say the summer apples are okay. But you know summer is over when the real apples are available in the fall at the farmer's market, and I always look forward to that. And then packing away the shorts and tank tops, you know? You have to change what's in your drawers, unless you have a lot of closet space.
When I was in grade school, I always looked forward to the first day of school because it was my birthday. And I got to take cupcakes, and I was very popular that day.
The sight of the yellow school buses is just thrilling, and still is thrilling. Was then, is now. I love it.
Ms. Joe, and the Dick and Jane episode and technology that you spoke about reminds me that somehow we have to begin to maybe look at how technology is determining how we behave here rather than how we determine how technology behaves. I wouldn't be surprised that if we didn't have microphones or electronics, we would easily redesign or reconfigure the sitting in this room or a smaller room that everybody could just talk and hear each other. But it just sort of brings this to mind for me.
I don't know, it was always so exciting. I mean, all you teachers here, but it was always so exciting when the kids got their list of things they needed to get for school. But it was an adventure for us. You'd go to Office Depot or Target or whatever happened, or Kmart or whatever happened to be there, and it was just so exciting to get those Crayola crayons in the big boxes. And then they had the colored pencils. And my kids, and I mean, it was kind of wasteful, but we always got a new box of crayons every year. So it was just so exciting to get those crayons, I'll tell you. The kids just loved it. So thank you, teachers.
My name's Linda, and our family did a lot of camping when we had older kids and then younger kids. And our older kids' camping trips were really fun. We would go out and we would do canoeing in the backwoods of Algonquin Park. And then as the other kids came, our abilities became much more tight. You know, we couldn't do that as much. And so we haven't really been camping at all since we adopted Sam, but we've rented a cabin in Caton, Pennsylvania, another weekend, I guess, another week. And we're going to go for 5 days, and I'm really excited about that. And the cabin has electricity and bathrooms and a full kitchen. And it's right outside the Allegheny the Allegheny National Forest. Like, we can walk across the path, and Eric and I and Megan can go, and Sam and Shauna can stay back, and we could take the dog. So we're very excited about that.
I remember all of what everyone said this morning, and it's
very beautiful. I can remember going to school the first day and with my parents, and then going shopping and doing all those things. And I really appreciate hearing everyone else talk about it too. It brings many pleasant memories to my mind.
I liked what you said, Joe. It's a little off the topic, but I've often thought to myself that we're sitting here in rows facing one way and not looking at each other, and I would really like to see us have a circle where we look at each other and can communicate as a congregation, because I think that that's really what the community is.
I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everyone for sharing. In addition to sharing with each other, getting to know each other a little bit better, having your voice heard, you also minister to me in doing. And so I appreciate that, and I'm grateful for that. The closing words I want to share with you today, I'll tell you at the end who wrote them. I wanted a perfect ending. Now I've learned the hard way that some poems don't rhyme, some stories don't have a clear beginning, a middle, or an end. Life is about not knowing, having to change, taking the movement and making the best of it, without knowing what's going to happen next. Delicious ambiguity. These are the words of blessed memory, Gilda Radner.
Thank you for joining our gathering today. I hope you've been inspired and uplifted by sharing this time together. You can support the work and mission of this congregation with your financial contributions. For those in our chapel today, you'll find baskets at the back to receive your gift. For those participating virtually, I invite you to take a moment to visit our website, uuamherst.org, and click on the giving link, or text your gift to 833-987-1968. Please join me as we extinguish our chalice. Mickey, could you extinguish the chalice with these familiar words? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let us sing. Travel light? Yes. Oh, no, I thought we sent. Oh, okay. Travel light, travel easy. All right. Travel light and travel easy till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. May the road rise up to greet you as you leave your past behind. I will think about you gently, and I'll hold you in my mind. Travel light and travel easy till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. We do not have much time to gladden the hearts of those who travel this way with us, so be swift to love and make haste to be kind. Go in peace.